I was just got back from the National Retail Federation, big show, and you might have seen my video yesterday about the Ingenico and the solving the whole table dilemma, because that's one thing that just drives me up the wall is waiting for my check when I'm at a restaurant. In fact, this last week, I think we waited 45 minutes to an hour. We were convinced the server had actually left the building. And that's a big pain point. And that's what everybody's trying to figure out. And it was interesting that an awful lot of these exhibitors, and the Javits Center is like the largest convention center in the nation. So it is rows and rows of vendors, and they all seem to be trying to either copy the Amazon Go store, which is you can walk in and take out whatever you want. And what you have to do with that is you have to go through and you log in, you know, to open the door to the building, you swipe your credit card, there's an app you open, and then you go in, and as you take stuff off, it magically appears. And that seems to be a huge focus, not because the individual consumer down the way is asking for that, mind you, but because a lot of businesses are asking about that. Does this have legs for apparel? I don't know. I doubt it's going to work in appliances. But the idea was, what is the pain point for our customer? And I want you to consider that today, because an awful lot of times we get a real hubris about, I know my customers, and yet I don't, right? So if you read my Neiman Marcus blog that I did this last week about the experience there, it's like somebody up at the top doesn't realize what's going on down below, and then there's always a bunch of haters that'll pile onto my blogs and say, oh, well, I don't want to be helped, and I don't care what you want. See, here's the thing, I don't care, because the associates and the retailers I work with, when they're willing to actually change and do what I say, end up getting double-digit increases. In fact, yesterday I got a text from a guy who I worked with. I spoke to his 8 stores, I guess, 8 camera stores in end of November, beginning of December, and they also got onto SalesRx. And he said, wow, we were down 10% for the year, and after you coming to visit and after us implementing SalesRx, we finished the year 20% ahead. I don't know what you did, but you did something amazing to my company. Yeah, well, he was willing to change and say, what do I need to do? Just tell me. But that's not what most retailers do. It's like, yeah, tell me, but then I'll decide if that's it. And, I really don't like to be pushy, and I don't really like to have anyone talk to me. And I really like to shop with coupons, so that's what I'm going to continue doing. And if that's you, well, good luck to you, because probably you have a hobby, not a business. If you're not pulling out at least 75 grand out of your business and you aren't living the life that you want, look in the mirror, because you are either committed and all in and you're doing everything you can, or you're not. I have committed to doing this Facebook Live every Thursday this is, I think, my 2nd year. I have a newsletter that comes out every Sunday night at 6:30. I get an awful lot of trains and planes and all kinds of ways, and I could bitch about that. But you know what? That all supports the life that I want to live. So I'm grateful that I get to do all that work to make it work for me. And I think that's what most retailers have forgotten is, when you bought a business, when you started a business, you would have done anything for a customer. You would have done, how high is up. You wanted to do every single thing because you saw the direct connection. Unfortunately, as we get older, we kind of like, yeah, I don't want to quite do that. Yeah, that's a lot of work. Yeah, we used to. And the farther away you get from the sales floor, the easier it is for you to say it's all the damn customers, instead of what am I doing to innovate and what am I doing to make my 4 walls a better place. I saw a great technology called Volumental, comes out of Sweden. And the reason I had to remember that is because they partnered with the Swedish government. I had breakfast at the Swedish ambassador's residence in New York, where they presented this product that makes you scan somebody's foot, and it gives you a 3D model of it, and then shows the shoes that would work for you based on their inventory, but also tells the manufacturers, hey, we have a lot of people whose feet are this way, you should remake your shoes, and an awful lot of information. But what is it ultimately trying to do is make the brick and mortar experience better, because armed with that data now, the employee can go through and sell 2 pairs instead of 1. They can go through and make other ideas of what would work for them, instead of just saying, oh, we couldn't do that. right? Because people are trying to figure out, how do I bring more value to a brick and mortar store? And that's what I hope I can help you with. So just think about that today, that what are you doing to go through and make your sales floor that much better and be committed so that you live the life you lead. And that usually means you've got to help your employees live the life they want to lead. So there you go.